Hello everyone, and welcome to my top 5 favorite units in Age of Empires 1 video. Age of Empires 1 is it's not really that diverse of a game. It's pretty simple, pretty bare bones, especially compared to Age of Empires 2. And so there aren't exactly the largest selections of units to pick from. This list is interesting to compile because there are some interesting trends, but I don't want to get any spoilers for this. But in this video, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the top 5 favorite units of mine in Age of Empires 1. And I'm going to be giving a little overview of each and explaining what I like, what I dislike about them, etc, etc. There will be no honorable mentions though, because honorable mentions are too hard, man. At least for something like this. I'm not exactly a pro. Anyways, without any further ado, let's jump right into top 5 favorite units. Starting with number 1, we have my favorite unit in Age of Empires 1, the Heavy Horse Archer. This bad boy is Iron Age exclusive. It's also an elite unit. And, well, it should be. These units are high mobility, decent damage, especially once you get a lot of them, they do some serious damage. Their ability to micro is absolutely impeccable. I think that they have the best micro of any unit in the game. Chariot Archers might be slightly faster, but Chariot Archers don't do crap in terms of damage once you get to the Iron Age. And these guys have no business being as tanky as they are given their other specialties. So all around, this unit isn't like the most tanky ever, but it's got good range, crazy good micro, good damage, and rather unbalanced levels of health. So as you can imagine, this unit is absolutely insane in battle, at least for those who know how to micro. They take pretty much anything in battle. I've done a lot of tests on these units. I tested them against things like heavy catapults, and heavy catapults are easily one of the most broken units in the game to mass, if you just mass heavy catapults. But honestly, I wouldn't these units I actually consider to be the best in the game, not just my favorite, but the best, because they can take heavy catapults with the right micro. It's a very hard thing to micro against catapults because their balls are so hard to track. You don't know where they're gonna hit sometimes. It's really a pain in the rear, but once you know how to deal with them, Heavy Horse Archers counter them. So these units are just kind of absurd that they can do that. They do struggle a bit against Elephant Archers, but in large enough groups, they can usually take them out. I tested them against Cataphracts, and they just straight up win against Cataphracts. The reality is that they're ranged, and they have enough HP and speed that you can have all of your Heavy Horse Archers can fire on just one Cataphract at a time, and over time you will kill more of them than they'll kill you. So they win trades against Cataphracts, which is insane. They beat camels, although in small groups like you see here, they kind of struggle against them. And they take ballistas and Heliopolises with micro. And there's really nothing in the game that they can't beat. Like, priests, you got enough of them, you master those units, you can kill priests, you can kill ballistas, Heliopolis. You can really kill anything in the game with Heavy Horse Archers. Especially with micro. As you can see here, I only had 6, 7, maybe 8 or 9 of these units, and I've definitely gotten really good trades off of them. One thing, though, I'm struggling to deal with is micro versus macro. I think I micromanage too much, and while it's cool to do that and all, I'm thinking macro techniques are actually probably more. Anyways, let's move on. Moving on to number 2, the Heliopolis. Now, this is basically the other side of the coin for Heavy Horse Archers. Heliopolises are also an elite unit, and believe you me, they have earned that spot, though not nearly as much as Heavy Horse Archers have earned it. They have pretty crappy health, pretty bad armor, But one thing they're great at is dealing out crazy amounts of damage with really low effort on the micro scale. Micro scale. I don't think that's a term. So they basically are low health, high damage units, basically a glass cannon, quite literally. As you can see here, I got a couple of them, and they kind of slaughter pretty much anything in their way except for heavy catapults. Next up, we got the composite bowman in number 3. This is where we get to the point that favorite doesn't really make sense, like logically. Composite bowmen are fun to play around with, but they require 2 upgrades in Bronze Age. Once you get to Iron Age, they aren't even really feasible as a military unit. As you can see here, even with them masked up, it takes forever for them to kill legionaries. And, yeah, it just doesn't really work beyond the Bronze Age. Like, if you mass enough composite bowmen, you can take a chariot rush, but unless you're the Minoans, it's really not a viable strat. Next up, we got the chariot archer in number 4. Again, I mean, I'm not sure how logical this is, but the chariot archer is basically like the heavy cavalry archer, except it's basically worse in every way. It does practically no damage, has worse range, pretty crappy health. It's only really viable in Bronze Age, and has no upgrades. And as you can see here, against cataphracts, it does beyond poorly. With 10 of these, I managed to kill, 3 cataphracts. They really just aren't that good of a unit. Next up, we have number 5, snagging the bottom spot in our list. The only actual melee unit here is the Centurion. Centurions are by far the best melee unit in the game, even beyond elephants. They have a reasonable cost given their insane damage output and ability to absorb damage. These units straight up can beat elephants in a one-on-one fight. They output crazy damage. They really are just the best infantry in the game. Their one weakness, though, is lack of speed, which, if you're Greeks, isn't really that much, because Greeks get an additional buff in speed and get cheaper Centurions. So, a lot of the Centurions' weaknesses are covered up if you're Greeks. And, as a result, these units were able to snag the bottom position, but as you can see here, they don't even come close to holding a candle to heavy horse archers. The strength of being able to micro just outclasses them. And in my opinion, range is just better than melee. Okay, that was all for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed looking at my reasonings for each of these of my 5 favorite units from Age of Empires 1. If you want me to do a list of my 5 least favorite units in Age of Empires 1, then believe you me, I would love to do that, because I like talking trash. At least I like talking trash to in-game units. I'm not very good at talking trash IRL. Anyways, that's really everything. I did find it really interesting that 4 out of 5 of these units are all ranged. And I just really have a preference for ranged units over melee units, because the more range you have, the longer you can do damage. Basically, I like them because of math. Also because it frees me up for more, it frees up more space for microing whenever you have long range. So I really like that. Also, I hate being kited. I hate it so freaking much. It absolutely sucks. Anyways, that's all. See you guys in the next one. Later, nerds.